Now we're live, so there we are. We're live, so
So I'm busy.
perfect.
Man,
That
I've been going all day. Check this out now, Dale. Oh, yeah, you gotta say we're on the air, but it's
we're on the air with Speed Bump and Mud Flap, aka Knee Deep in Rubber.
not really, but I mean, I'm not sure if I like the name Speed Bump, but it's
Rob Adams is giving it to you as well.
I decided my car has the cool little feature, where you hit the window, you can roll it up or automatically hit it, and it goes all the way up by itself and stops. If it gets messed up, it'll go up and stop and then come back down 6 or 7 inches. Or you shut the car to go in the house, it goes down. And it's real simple to fix, but it's in the door. You got to get back in there and push a little button while you're doing this and that. So for some reason, 2 hours ago, I decided I'm just going to do that real quick. I'm sick of messing with it. I'm out in my driveway with it snowing and blowing and cold with my car opened up and the door off, and I can't get it all put back together. And I finally did, so I'm here. I walked in the house and I got me something to drink and headed to my same old area that I don't have fixed up for a new area. Oh, and Mike, I bring things for you.
Right.
Here we go. The Tinny Llama Country.
Okay.
There was my boots I wore when I was on the road playing.
Right.
Look at those. They even have a Tony Llama tag, and they're probably halfway unlaced, probably just like the last time I wore them, probably.
Right.
But look at those suckers, man.
That's cool.
You need some of these
Clearly.
for all those walks you take. Yeah.
Well, also, this thing is blown up because I not only we had Rob and he contacted me this morning. I talked to him a couple of times, and then also there was a guy named Daryl Nelson. You remember him?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, he contacted me and
Yes.
then he wrote me a lot of stuff explaining who he was and when we played together and all this stuff. And I wondered where you went, Mike. I never knew. And he's like, we need to get together sometime. And
Telling you, this thing is blowing up. I just love it, how much it means to do something at the same time every day. And that's why we're on here every day at 4:00, Monday through Friday. Unless you're going to Nashville or Tennessee or something. Who knows?
yeah, I can't do that. Those plans got wiped out since my wound doctor and even my wound doctor nurses. I was telling them, they pointed at my foot. They go, that's your priority right now. They go, you want to keep your foot? That's
Right.
what's important right now. I go, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I got in trouble because they said my ankle and stuff still, it's swollen a little bit.
Right.
And that's how they tell how much I've been on the crutches out, running around doing stuff.
Right.
The perfect world would be me sitting in the house with the foot elevated, watching TV for 24 hours. But I was dogging it and everything yesterday. And then I picked up the dog. The dog's got a urinary something wrong because it was happy to see me and it's squirted, and the squirt looked like cranberry juice. And so my vet couldn't get it in today. They could get it on Monday. And so they told me to Branson West, there's a little animal hospital, and they have 3 vets, and they just do normal vet and blah, blah, blah. They were all booked today. They couldn't get the dog in, but they could work the dog in the dog emergency room. I go, oh, well, that's going to be more expensive, isn't it? Oh, yeah, it's about twice.
Right.
I go, so I called my vet back, and they said, your dog's okay till Monday. They got me some cranberry. They're made for dogs with a liver taste. Cranberry, like women, they get infections, and they take cranberry juice and all, and that helps. Well, the dog's got it now, so.
So
But anyway,
from urinary tract dog infections. So let's talk about. I had so much fun with Rob Adams yesterday, and
Yeah, he was a blast.
I tell you, I'm trying to get in touch with Dale Daniel, the drummer for that band, because he's a Facebook friend and he's out in California, and I really would like to hear from him. And so one of the people I'm trying to track down.
Yeah, I'm finding out all these people I played bands with that I forgot about. We used to go to what's the old center at SMS where you said we did a musculoskeletal telethon? Yeah, we used to play there every year, and it was so much fun because they had different bands locally and around in a radius.
Right.
You didn't get paid anything. It was just but that was it McDonald Arena? Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just crammed full of people, and every band got something like 2 hours, and you just got up and did your thing, and it was a lot of fun. You got to watch other bands and got to meet a lot of people, and it was raising money for muscular dystrophy, and it was well, Rob, he was talking about that, but later on we did it, well, maybe it's earlier on, but we did it with me, Bobby Eaton, Jeff wasn't at that one, but it was more of my local guys,
right.
rock band, and it was very cool. All my guys, everybody, Bobby Eaton, all of them had the longer hair. I mean, we looked like the rock band right out of the 70s. I mean, it's it was cool, and it was fun, and we were accepted really well. That was the day, Dale, back in the days when you'd have a PA board made by Custom or Sun, and they'd have those boards where the knobs were about that big around on them, I mean, they look cool, but they were huge, and you had these big knobs. And anyway, that was fun. What are we going to talk about?
I guess what I would like to talk about is talk about the difference in meeting the bands in the 70s and the 80s and up to the 90s. What was different about the musicianship and everything?
Well, you can kind of tell because if you look at music now, bands from 70s, 80s are still around touring.
Right.
Or if they're not starting to. And if you've ever went and seen some of them, they're just as good.
Yes.
I'm amazed. Black Oak, Arkansas is touring all the time. And Jim Dandy, not your little skinny guy with the no shirt and everything. I mean, he's Jim Dandy, but he's much bigger, but they still do their thing, and they still.
Mike, did you cut out? Hello? There you are. There you're back.
Oh.
That's fine.
But that was the difference. 70s and 80s were about the same. Now, when it started getting into the 90s, music was kind of taking a different.
Right. I think a lot of it has to do with the amount of woodshedding that you did. I mean, clearly it was the craft that you developed in the time.
Yeah, it was 70s was a very cool time because
yes.
I mean, I'm just saying in music wise, the variety of music. I mean, later I was doing DJ stuff and I'm like, in the 70s, we had band playing rock stuff and all, but at the same time, in the latter 70s, disco was getting really huge and big.
Yes.
And we hated it because we're a rock band. What's that DJ doing in there with a mirror ball playing? What was this, disco? And it was and the punk rock stuff came along in the late 70s into the 80s. The 80s was just kind of mainstream. My alarm every day when it goes off, it goes off to some type of music from the 80s usually. Some old, let's see, what was today? Today was Working for the Weekend, Loverboy. And then I try to think of some song that'll fit in with the day. Okay, it's Friday, working for the weekend. Well, I'm not working, but yesterday was Holiday Road by Lindsey Buckingham. That was on all the Chevy Chase movies, Holiday Road. And I don't know if you ever do this. I've got nights I get on YouTube and start watching different bands and different stuff. Sure. And one leads to another. And before you know it, it's way late in the night and I'm still watching bands and stuff. And the technology we have nowadays. I mean, when you can go on and watch these concerts from back in the 70s and stuff.
Well, just the stuff we've got here today. I mean, how crazy is it that we can be live and do this stuff that we're not together?
Technology is very cool. And what we're doing right here is pretty much the primitive version of what we're doing too. Yes. There are people doing the green screen technology and all that. I mean, there's a lot of things that we could be doing, right, that we ourselves would be going, wow. But this is where we want to be right now with the way we are doing it.
That even of the stuff I did in the summer, I had people tell me to do this or do that, and this technology has improved even this year. It's made that much of a difference since like June or July. It's crazy to see how it's all coming together. It's so much better and so much easier.
It is. And Rob he complimented me yesterday on a couple of things. Said I was always the business guy. Right. And that's me even today. I mean, that's where I'm at. I love entertaining and playing and performing, but I still come down to business.
You're still Ray Reed's son.
It is. I find, who was it in country music? I forgot his name. He didn't have very many hits. I used to do one of his songs, and it was called I'm Seeing My Father in Me. I'm seeing my father in me. It's how I used to be. And that was me and my dad so much. And of course, that went out, that was a lot of Paul Overstreet, I think. I don't know, but I take a little bit for granted because I've done so much music in my life. Right. I mean, a lot of 60, in the 70s, we were still doing 60s music too. Then we did 70s all through the thing. And then we did tons of 80s. And then, like I said, I'm doing 80s, and I got the long hair and the headband and 80s, we were spandex pants and the whole thing. And that one day I'd heard of a new band called Alabama, and I went to a Walmart. I think I probably bought a cassette tape to go in my Walkman. Sure. And laid out at the pool and listened to Alabama, and because I'd been hearing about these guys. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool, because I'm from the Ozarks. And this is, it's country, but it's country on steroids, and it's taken country to a level that people go, oh, that's kind of boring. It's for those people, it gave them something else. Yes. And so, and I'm saying, so I went through all that phase, quitting the 80s rock thing to do the country thing, and then we did tons of country stuff. Then I didn't want to ever say that I never moved to Nashville. I understood the business. I'm not one of the guys, I'm going to be somebody. And I got to do a lot of demo work while I was there, and I had some pretty good stuff, and I got close to making. It was a time when a lot of people could make it in the business because the country thing just hit so big. But you had to have the right connections up. But I did that, and then I'm in Nashville, and then they discover I'm a pretty good DJ, and with corporate parties and all this. So I become a DJ. So now there's a whole nother spectrum of music that I'm learning. And oh my gosh. And now I'm back. People ask me, if you could just be out playing, what would you like to be playing? I love country music. I'd probably like to be playing maybe old 60s stuff. I love the old, in the 60s, there was so much talent, because you think about well, first of all, you think about the Beatles, but you think about all these groups and artists.
Oh
And
yeah.
if you can't think about them, just watch TV till you see one of those Time Life commercials. And they're showing video clips and all. There was so much talent in the vocals and the harmonies, and they didn't have all the equipment to make all. I've got a thing called Singtrix, Singtrix.
Okay.
The guys that make Guitar Hero made this, but it's, if you know what you're doing with it, you can use it live and stuff. It has over 300 studio effects in it. It'll have effects like, for if you're going to do like Purple Rain and you want that dearly beloved, well, that effect is it's not called Purple Rain. It's called something like Purple Kind of Rain. They had to do it differently, but this has all these. I can make you sing. I can give you a microphone and put in Barry White, and I can punch this in, and you can just sing, "Hey, baby," and it comes out. It comes out just exactly like Barry White. Right. They invented these things to just have in your house and have parties with.
Right.
But if you know how to use them, you can use them. If I sit and do a solo act, I'll use this thing. I can make myself sound like Queen if I want to, or Journey, or Tinkerbell. It's one of the coolest things. The guys that invented Guitar Hero made this thing, and it's very cool. But they took all the stuff that's in studios and fixed it where somebody normal can have it at their house. But and it's got pitch shifters. I mean, if you sing a little flat, it's got where you can adjust it where you will be on the note. I mean, you won't be flat anymore. And it's I would use it at some karaoke things that I would host in Nashville. Of course, you'd get people go, "What are you doing to my voice? What is that?" I go, "It's some effects." "Well, what are those there for?" I'd have to look at them and say, "Because you need them. That's why they're there. You need that." Yeah, it's making you sound better. But anyway, but technology, I'm saying. And I said that because Rob said I always had, some of the best equipment and all. I've always been one to, I've used all the big subs and speakers and tons of that stuff. I use all the Bose stuff now, the big tall poles, and they're called the L1 series, and little subs. You can play at one end of a football field and hear it just as plain on the other goal line. It's because Bose does that wave thing. So technology-wise, I'm up on that. I love doing sound tech work. I just like the business. I thought today to myself, I was sitting there thinking about everybody goes out and punches the clock and works all day, and the girls in the hospital, "Oh yeah, man, it's Friday. We hope this day gets done so we get a day off." And I thought I've been pretty lucky because they say if you can do what they say, something that you really enjoy,
Yes,
that's the secret to the success thing.
And what I want to go back to is you put the time in the getting good at this stuff, even as talking or whatever. All that you do is good that you've done for many years, including all the work in your on the Flying V or whatever else, whatever your guitar was. You got good at that. And that's the thing that to me is different, because there are still kids that are occasionally gifted towards that, but having that kind of woodshed stuff is different now.
Yeah, it was like I told you, a friend of mine, Sid and June. Sid was working in a paint factory. He's killing him.
Right.
And he could play a little guitar, and I got him out there. I taught him bass.
Right.
And I taught him how to play. I got it where we didn't even play for a month, so I could get him up on it so he could start playing music and making money and
Right.
get out of the factory. And he loved it. And man, and he's a fun guy. He was Stub Metals. Well, he still is. Stub Metals that used to be with the Bald Knobbers a long, long time ago. This is his brother. And Sid's just as funny. And he works at Silver Dollar City now. But he's him and his wife are the best couple I've ever seen in my life. They're inseparable.
Uh-huh.
And we would play music. And the only way they would do it is if she could go. All of our gigs, she could go. And I just told him one day, this is crazy, Sid, because you're having to split up your paycheck with your wife. I mean, so the two of you can survive out here on the road. And that's why I told you, I'm always thinking of other people to try to help.
Right.
I taught her how to be a sound tech and run sound. And we had the Snake, and we had, like 18, 24 channel board, whatever it was, sitting out front. And I would be on a wireless and on sound checks. I'd go out there with her. And I got her to where people go, hey, your little woman who does a sound does a really good job for you. And that just made me smile. Because I tell her, I can't pay you what I'm paying the rest of the band people. What I'm paying you is enough money that takes care of you every week.
Right.
Sure. If you want to spend some money, you got some. If you guys, you guys go out and eat a couple steaks, Sid don't have to take 2 steaks out of his paycheck. You've got some money to chip in. So, my whole life I've always, and that's when Rob said, well, you were always the business guy taking care of all this and that. Right. Yeah, that's me. I didn't care what the other guys were doing, the party and having the fun. Yeah. It was fine with me. I was still having fun. And I sit and I get days, like I said, today I'm sitting out in the snow working on my car, something inside of, and I thought, I'm a lucky guy that music. And I said, sometimes I'm like, I just want to get back to playing. I mean, I play every night in my house, and it's, I go.
What guitar? Yeah. What do you use? What do you play on?
I've played guitar since I was in 3rd grade.
Right. Eldon.
I take it for granted. I'm pretty decent, right. Except I do over the years through a diabetes thing a long time ago. I've got some neuropathy in my hands and my feet, which I find a lot of musicians that do. I just talking to people. Wow, I know what you're talking about. Somewhere, who was it? It's a fiddle player somewhere down here. Somebody I know that, it's one of the guys in I think the Sons of Riches that do at the IMAX Theater or something like that. One of those told me, oh man, I get to where I can't feel nothing and I'm still trying to play, So that's the worst thing, playing normal guitar, because there's 6 strings and your fingers got to go everywhere. Yes, I get times where I go to play some chord and the finger don't quite go there, and it makes me mad. And I'm like, I'm having to learn, in a sense, I'm having to learn how to play guitar all over again, like I was in 3rd grade. Not really, but makes me feel that way. But I play cigar box guitars. They're old. They're made out of a cigar box. They have a neck. They're 3 strings is what they are, and they play a lot of slide. So right. If you want a G chord, a lot of chords on them are just one finger across the strings. I mean, one finger, and then you can add little things. These things are so cool to play that since I discovered them maybe a year ago, I've probably spent 75% of my time playing those and 25% guitar. It's just, and they're kind of cool because they're the surprise. People see it and they go, what the heck is that? What are you playing? Wow. And come to find out, there's a lot of people playing them around. You'll find them at festivals and stuff like that.
But it's a good market for the stuff we're doing. You're thinking the stuff we're doing.
Wait, you're cutting out. I only heard.
It's a good.
I could answer you. I could just fake it. Do what?
It's a good market for Year the Ticket. All the stuff we're doing. That's one more thing that you've got your mind on already.
Well, as I've said, I'm a good entertainer, which I think that's a trick. Sid, he was scared about playing bass. I said, don't worry about it. My friend Tracy out in Colorado, fun guy, good looking guy. He was a rodeo guy. Always wanted to play music. Oh, I just don't play good enough. I can't do it. I'm like, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. And so to this day, people go, man, Tracy, you're good on stage. You're a lot of fun, man. We love watching you play. And they go, where'd you get started? And he says, I have one word, Mike. And he goes, I tell them a friend of mine made me do it. I was scared to death. I didn't want to do it. And once I started doing it, so they would fly me out to Steamboat Springs to do some contests and stuff, and to play guitar with them. So that was humbling. But I play pretty good. I play good enough that I say I can get up with any band and play.
Right.
You know, I won't be the greatest player in the world. I mean, you take people like Nick Sibley and different cats out of Springfield right there that are just, these guys have been around a long time and they're very, very good. But it's only musicians that kind of know, wow, that guy, I don't even want to play in front of him. Oh, gee. Sure. The crowd don't know that you're just playing music. So me, I'm just a really good entertainer. I mean, because I know how to give people what they want.
Right.
I don't worry about, wow, some guy that played that guitar part better than I play it.
Right.
Those things don't matter, you know. And I cared more about my tennis shoe boots than if I played the guitar part. But it's and as I get older, I still want to play. There's a gentleman, he lives in Marionville. You need to talk to him too. Eddie Valen. I don't. He's on Facebook a lot, and I think he's from Las Vegas originally, and I've never seen him live, but I've wrote and told him I'd love to see him play. He just does a big variety of all kinds of stuff, but you can tell he's a guy that's going, I can do this, and he just does it. That's kind of what Garth Brooks did. I can do this, and he does it.
Exactly. That's a good point. In the week, been a great week. Doing the 5 Chaz Murphy tonight, which will be fun, and so fun to pick up you next week. And if you not watched the Carlene Carter interview, that was so fun yesterday. That was really good. You need to watch that.
I haven't. To not be doing anything, I'm staying really busy, and it's you know, I like I said, I'm sitting right here in Branson. You can create your own spots to play if you just want to play for tips somewhere, you know. But but we've got other plans. I don't know, you know, we've got plans of stuff that we both believe will work.
Right.
It's just it's going to be a tough haul getting it going, but it only takes a couple little things that pop, and all of a sudden, it's there.
All right, this is a good week. Goodbye, Speed Bump. I'll see you on Monday.
Well, mud nuts. There you go. No, mud flap. You say you got a thing at 5?
Yes, I do.
Okay, don't get used to calling me Speed Bump. I gotta have a cool name. I gotta have I was trying to think of I was just trying to think of something related to my dad to call me, but I'll come up with something.
Okay, that's great. And see you on Monday. See everybody.